Are we back? All right, we're back. Friday, October the 14th. Wow, where is the time flies? And I'll tell you, it's a literally a perfect day out. I don't know where you people are watching from, but here in old Brandon, that's the bluest, cloudless sky I've seen in a long time. It's probably in the, I haven't checked the temperature, but it's probably in the low 80s outside. Let's see, it feels pretty good. Yeah, 83, low humidity. So it's a beautiful day. Again, I'm Paul Reed, your host, with the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford. Um, Jason had on this edition, Jason had sent a an article to me as far as they're called exculpatory clauses, and what that means is simply um, if you enter into a contract with an individual, the contract will indicate that if you're hurt or if your property is damaged, and we'll go into that a little bit more, that the company is not responsible. So basically, it's a exculpatory clause that says part of a contract that prevents one party from holding the other party liable for damages related to the contract. And you'd be like, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, I'll give you an example. In a real life case we had, we'll talk about here, but when you if you go down here, there's a Sky Zone trampoline park. You know what that is? You go in, you take your kids' birthday parties, and you jump on the trampoline. Every single participant signs an exculpatory clause. The racetrack, if you go to a East Bay Raceway and you want to go back into the pits are inherently dangerous. You have to sign an exculpatory clause. I guarantee you, I don't have enough money, but if I did and I wanted to ride on a Gasparilla float during the parade, I guarantee you, you sign an exculpatory clause. When you go snow skiing, if you ever have the opportunity in Colorado or in the up in the East Coast, part of you being able to ski on that mountain, you sign an exculpatory clause because God knows you run into a tree, you're toast. And so they make you sign one. The list goes on and on. Some you don't know. If you use a valet service, you pull up to the restaurant and you hand your keys to the guy and you give him $5 and he gives you a ticket. Flip that ticket over and it says, I guarantee you, we're not responsible for damage to your car. Yep. Is that the TwitchCon was, what is that? Oh, I read that. So they had a platform, and I've seen like the gladiators. They give you the little foam pits, and you have the little handle, and you try to smash their head in until they fall. And then that's fine. But it's my understanding she broke her back and had surgery. Yeah, and I think you asked me, can she bring a claim against, whomever, the one of the many entities involved in the. Well, unfortunately, yeah. Uh, the answer to your question is maybe, but probably not. And the reason being is we had a case, legit, just similar to this, and it was against one of the big fitness companies here locally, where our girl broke her ankle. My client. Yeah. All right. Put up the release and waiver of liability that was the issue in my case, and it says LA Fitness. I mean, that's fine. That doesn't matter. It was LA Fitness. Uh, yeah, it's on page 13, which is the release and waiver of liability and indemnity. And let me know when you have it up. And I have it. Okay, so what happened is our client was a member of LA Fitness, and like everyone did and does and is required to do, you sign the membership contract that tells you, what you can and can't do, and how much you got to pay, and things of that nature. Well, part of that contract is that section that says, and I have it in my on my thing, release and waiver of liability and indemnity. That's basically what, when we talk about an exculpatory clause, that's basically what it is. And I'll read it briefly. It says you hereby acknowledge and agree that the use by a member or the member's minor children of LA Fitness facilities, services, equipment, premises involves risk of injury to persons and property, including those described below, and that basically you assume full responsibility of such risk. I'm going to scan down a little, and it says the member hereby releases and holds LA Fitness, its directors, officers, employees, etc., harmless, meaning you can't sue them if you're injured on the premises. And that injury includes, what do they put here? I believe it's if you have a heart attack, if you are in broken bones, torn muscles, ligaments, heat stroke, heart attacks, falls in the shower, basically injured anywhere in the facility while using the facility is what this release says. All right, so I guarantee you, your lady, I don't say your lady, but the lady at the Twitch concert or Twitch convention signed a similar release. Now, I can only speak for Florida. Florida holds that these releases are legit, meaning they can prevent you from bringing a claim with a couple of exceptions. Now, I can't, if I was in California or some other state, they may or may not even allow exculpatory clauses, but I'm going to talk about Florida because that's where we're at currently, and that's where I practice law. So in Florida, they're upheld in the courts, but for a couple of exceptions. One, if there's some form of fraud in the contract, then of course that clause would not be would not be held would not hold up in court. If it violates a state statute. So if you have a state statute or federal statute that says A, B, and C, and Jason wants to put in his contract, well, regardless of A, B, and C, you can't do this. Well, of course, that's not going to be upheld in court. And here's where I was able to get around their motion for summary judgment. And remember, the motion for summary judgment says basically this: Your Honor, the judge, the plaintiff signed this document, this contract. It has an exculpatory clause. She was injured, and so you should dismiss her case. That's what a motion for summary judgment was, and that's what they filed here. And so the language in this document has to be clear and unambiguous, So you can't have a lot of legalese that people don't understand, because the court would find it to be ambiguous and not clear to the average person. So they try to write it in plain, simple English that you understand what's happening. And if you see that document in front of you, they even use bold letters. At the very bottom, member has read this release and waiver of liability and indemnity clause and agrees that no oral representation, statements, or inducement apart from the agreement have been made.
Yeah.
But trying to make it clear, you understand you're giving up your right to sue LA Fitness if you're injured on the premises while using the premises, the workout room, and so forth.
Got you.
So
unfortunately, let me pause real quick. Unfortunately, nobody heard anything that I said during the whole first and half of everything. Barbara was commenting and she said, I cannot hear Jason. When he talks, it cuts out. There was an issue with my mic. I troubleshooted it while you were explaining, so your long piece really gave us time to fix it.
Are you back on?
I am back on now, but nobody heard anything I said.
Well, short version.
Yeah.
Jason was telling people that there's a online streaming platform called Twitch, and Twitch basically has a lot of people, hundreds of thousands, and they have a convention. And at the convention, they had these gladiator wars where two people would put on a helmet and probably some pads and get padded sticks and try to knock each other off a platform. I've actually seen that on TV on some of these game shows. Well, this poor lady, I guess, got knocked off and broke her back.
Yeah.
And so the question was, can she sue, the convention, the individuals that put the convention on and so forth? And that's how we got into the exculpatory clause issue that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what Jason was saying, and what I had said is that I guarantee you that all of the participants in that competition
sign a
signed
waiver.
one of these clauses.
Sure.
And again, depending on the state, I'm just going to go, if it was Florida, and the clause would be upheld by the court as long as it was clear and unambiguous and laid out what rights you're giving out, which basically is you're giving up the right to sue the individual, bring a claim against the individual for their negligence and your injury. Okay. So I have this case right down the street, the LA Fitness, where our client broke an ankle. And we, of course, they denied the claim, saying they had this exculpatory clause in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
We sued them, got a copy of the contract, read it, and we prevailed. But here's how. If you read this contract, it talks about everything more or less occurring in the gym, while at the gym, while using the gym, on and on and on, in the gym, around the gym. Well, our lady was walking through the parking lot, and there was a big pothole. And so my argument, which the court bought, was, hey, this was not associated with her gym membership. It's not what is laid out in this exculpatory clause. Falling in a pothole in the parking lot, is far removed from having anything to do with exercising in a gym.
Right. Okay.
And it's not.
And you were able to hold LA Fitness to the parking lot maintenance?
It was theirs. Yeah, it was their
Okay.
parking
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the judge said, yeah, because think
Well,
about it.
there you go.
Huh?
I said, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, because it was pretty daunting when you read this. I'm like, oh, this is no bueno.
Yeah. Yeah, you're zeroed out here the way this is worded.
But
Brandon Johnson from the stream asked, how is that contract impacted if the fitness company is doing something illegal or highly dangerous?
That's easy. That would violate a state statute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
again, if it violates a state statute, which if it's illegal, obviously there's a statute that says you can't do this.
It's illegal. You shouldn't be doing
it.
So
that would make the waiver null and void.
Okay.
Right.
And then the second part of that, which was something like kind of the question I was thinking of, he asked, what if it was highly dangerous? Above and beyond kind of what the normal scope would be.
Well, that's fine. That's the exculpatory clause at the racetrack. It's highly dangerous to be in the pit because cars are zooming around. You get mowed over.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Working out can be highly dangerous. By way of example, I saw an individual doing a bench press by himself, right?
Yeah, okay.
And you could tell that he was started off fine, but he tried to do too many, and we've all been there.
Yes.
And you got to roll the bar off you. Hence why doing a bench press by yourself is not a wise idea, because
right. If you're pushing maxes, yeah.
So that's highly dangerous.
So then
I gotta be honest, some of those fitness classes, if you're out of shape, that's highly dangerous.
Yes,
it can be. Heart attack.
You can actually. Yes, you can. So it's great. What about, so he asks another question.
Go ahead.
A follow-up. He says, what about shoddy construction of the foam pit? So this was my question. This is actually what my question was going to be, which was, so Amazon owns Twitch. Twitch put on the convention. So those are both entities that are involved. Lenovo, it was Lenovo's booth. And they're the ones who had this gladiatorial arena thing, but they aren't the ones who constructed it. Another media company, marketing company, constructed it for them. So I'm guessing all of these entities are involved.
Well,
what if the pit was like, because they're saying that the pit was too shallow. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. Maybe they improvised as they were setting up. It's very unclear, but they were saying that the pit was actually more shallow than it was supposed to be.
Okay, well, let's go back. So we've got the release and waiver, and go back to the first highlighted section. It says member agrees to the following. Member hereby releases and holds LA Fitness, its directors, officers, employees, and members, personal representatives,
Okay.
agents,
Yeah.
employees
Heirs,
and
nicks, and
agents.
kids.
So
Yeah.
then the question would be, is the company that constructed the pit an agent for LA Fitness?
Yeah.
That would be the determining factor,
contracted.
because they're certainly not directors, officers, employees,
Right.
but are they an agent
Yeah. Okay.
of LA Fitness?
Okay.
You would argue that they're not, of course,
Mm.
and so that's how that would be determined.
Sure.
But remember about you got to remember, we read this and it says, member, if you're injured, even including death, whether caused by an active or passive negligence. So the negligent design
so negligence is what
negligence.
Yeah.
So it's,
okay. So the
so you can't say,
misconstruction
well, because that's what they're trying to prevent. Even if we screw up and we're negligent, you agree that you can't hold us accountable.
So what do you do? Just not go? Like you pay all this money for a ticket and you're like you get there and you're like, oh, you want to participate in this? This is really cool. Oh, sign this waiver. 9 times out of 10, I don't think people read them. But what do? You get there and go, oh, I'm not signing this.
Then you don't go. Yeah, you don't go. Look, I have skydived a few times and it's very fun.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's a waiver there. It's on the computer, but there's a waiver there, because the risk of death, that's pretty substantial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
but like you
as
said,
gets,
you remember, you have a choice not to participate in the activity.
I could have taken that one political, but I won't touch it.
Yes,
yeah, you're absolutely
not,
right.
But I mean,
you're absolutely
like you said, equestrian events, they're very dangerous.
They are actually.
Yeah, I mean, so you name it.
Again, even those little like mechanical bulls in the bark.
Hey, taking your clothes to the dry cleaner. The back of that slip says, hey, if we damage your clothes, we're not responsible.
Okay. Yeah.
Now a lot of them will give you the shirt, but you take a $10,000
dry cleaners in my house.
Yeah.
They're called children.
What else? You've seen when you park your car in the garage at downtown Tampa, we're not responsible for theft and all that.
Yeah, right.
That's an exculpatory clause.
Okay.
And this is important.
So when do you agree to those? Is like whenever you agree to use their facilities? Are those
correct?
Because I don't know if I sign anything when I park somewhere and pay for my parking spot.
You got to sign. Sign says.
Okay.
Here's what's also, you have to understand, landlords can also put this in your lease. So you really need to, unfortunately, and I agree with you, no one does. When I bought my home, there's 1,000 documents to sign.
Yeah.
I didn't need any of them.
Dude.
Stupid. I know.
Tolkien-sized novel.
Come on, give me the keys. That's all I want. The keys. Same thing with a rental car. Just give me the keys. I'm tired. I want a car. I got so.
Yeah.
But so there's these exculpatory clauses. They are upheld in the courts. Now, your lady, again, you'd have to read the clause that she signed.
Sure.
See who is protected or under that clause to determine whether or not they're going to pay. And understand, you would think, her back's broke, she's hurt, that the insurance company will pay.
Right.
No. I have a case right now. It's it's, in my opinion, these dogs chased a horse. A lady was riding it, fell off, and she died.
Wow.
And we asked for the policy, and they said no negligence. So the fact that a mother and a wife died, these insurance companies, if they don't pay because of sympathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that simple.
So they didn't get in it for sympathetic reasons.
Exactly. They're not the sympathy police. They're the we have shareholders and we're here to make money.
Right. Ultimately.
Just understand that it's a dog eat dog world
Isn't
out
that
there.
like legalized piracy at that point?
I'm not going there. Yeah. And
yeah.
so, all right, so that's basically exculpatory clauses.
Yeah, wow.
You got to understand, like when you, not that we do it much here, but up north, when you go into a restaurant, sometimes they'll take your coat and hang it up for you. They give you your little ticket, say, hey, your coat, your number 32 on the back of that. We're not responsible if we give your coat, your $10,000. This is you, your 10,000, not me, your $10,000 coat, your high roller to someone else or it get damaged. So, they're out there. A lot of people don't realize it. But
So I guess the moral of the story, especially for the fitness angle, is be careful when you're at these places. Because I follow some Instagram accounts where they show people misusing the equipment, and I've watched this one dude's knees get buckled backwards from trying to do a leg press with like a million effing weights on it.
I was no, you can get
be
hurt.
responsible because they're not going to
I was running on the treadmill once, and I just slipped, dude. Oh, my head hit the end of the treadmill. I had a big burn right here on my head.
Yeah.
So it happens. You can get hurt easily.
Yeah, for just normal use, you can get hurt, but like don't do any of the crazy stuff, man.
I worked out before work, and there was really nobody there at like 6 a.m. because this is an apartment complex. And luckily the push-up thing, which is what I have at my house, it's not a single bar. It has the catch. You know what I mean? You can't really drop it and kill yourself. Yeah. And this one had the one in the bar where you flipped it back, but as soon as you rolled it forward, it would catch. But you can get hurt in a gym.
You can.
And people do. I don't say you can't. People get hurt every day in the gym. Your ankle, your this, your that.
100%.
But
so at least don't be doing anything crazy. All right, so I'm seeing that our timer is ticking down. And they're going to kick us off.
Most of these activities where you can get hurt, they probably, when you're signing up for it, they probably have this exculpatory clause, so know that going in.
Okay.
And also, I was asked, well, can parents sign that on behalf of their children? And the answer is yes. Yeah. But children will not be held accountable if the company were to just have them sign it.
Right. Oh, okay.
So they want the parents to sign for the children, because you can't say, hey, little Johnny, here, sign this. You're 10 years old. Yeah, little Johnny breaks his leg. You're paying.
Is there a lollipop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right,
I guess that's it. It's the weekend. It's Halloween's right around the corner, and then it's freaking Thanksgiving, Christmas, and 2023. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a shout out to Mom. Mom had a couple of.
She was on. She's actually the one who caught the my sound thing. So definite shout out to her. Thank you.
Parker Ann's eyeballing you.
Yeah, she's always there, man. I love
she's got 2 new eyeballs.
I count on her.
Surgery for some kind of cataract. So she's
her
really
hearing is good.
She's really eyeballing you now. All right. Well, let me see.
Brandon Johnson says we had a great stream today, so thank you for that.
Stephen Cribb, who was one of Hillsborough County's finest police officers' birthday is either today or this weekend. So I'm going to put it up on the sign. But a shout out to Steve Cribb. Nice. He was the police officer that used to harass us in Brandon back in the day. But he was kind of like that country song. He'd flash his lights and let you go. and he
like
flashed lights more than once and let us go for sure. We do appreciate him for doing that.
Good job.
I remember on behalf of my brother Jody, one time, thank goodness it was old Steve Cribb, because we could have been in trouble. I'll leave it at that. And he's retired now, so we don't have to worry about him getting fired. Yeah, he was a good old boy, a police officer, kept Brandon safe, kept us from killing each other, and made sure none of us went to prison for long periods of time. God bless him.
For long periods of time.
I want to say that in all sincerity. I hope you have a great weekend.
Yeah, and we're finishing up the cover on the book.
So and
things should be coming full circle soon.
The law is coming out. We'll get into that more, and I can't wait.
It's coming soon. We don't have an exact date. We've got some other things to iron out, but it's very fast approaching.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's
All
it for us. It's
right.
it's about 1:30. On behalf of Jason and all those
Reeds.
here at the Read and Read,
Yeah.
we'll see you.
Yeah.